morning. I think it's a tough one to follow the previous session. I can tell you, and I hope some of your dopamines are very, very high. Before the session started, and the first question that Raja posed, is Gen AI hype or a reality? You know, when I entered, I thought it was a reality. But as reflected on my today morning, I thought it's a hype because something as easy as booking a hotel close to the office, to the venue, I was positioned 10 kilometers away. You can just assume if you're in Bangalore, 10 kilometers away means what? So literally, whatever AI might do, human intelligence, human touch is still very, very required. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being a great audience in the previous session, and really privileged and honored to talk today. Let me just step back and tell you a little bit about my view of AI, because this is about AI. I was at the airport yesterday, and I saw a huge crane. Big crane which was there, and it was putting this big a boulder on top, at least 50 feet high. So the moment I looked at it, I said, oh, wow, this is fantastic. Look at what machines could do. And then it took me back to almost 50 years back when we would have had the first crane, maybe 50 or 70, whatever, some decades back, when the first crane would have been introduced. And think about what people would have felt. What they would have felt was fear. Fear of losing livelihood. Fear of literally thinking about what will happen if this doesn't work. Fear of what if I injure someone. Fear of my livelihood. But today, it's a reality. It is the flow. It's the way the work happens. I think that's where AI is today. All of us understand and appreciate the value. We're very clear about it will create an impact. But there is still that fear which we talked in the last session. People are still sitting on the edge. And sitting on the edge not because of anything, just because of the fact, what will happen to me? What will happen to the world? AI is getting adopted, but it is more embedment versus flow of the work. And that's one of the key things which I want to just talk about today. So what's stopping us from adoption? The only thing which stops us from adoption is us. And I think that was a perfect session which landed to mind to really talk about the human brain. It is the fear, it is the apprehension of unknown, it is the change which comes in the way of really driving adoption of AI. And today, all of us who are seated here are the people who have to make that leap and make AI happen, almost just like you would assume any machine which is in place today. So let me give you a little stats, because I would love to start with some of the stats. If you think about every company is becoming a tech company, we all know about it. We thought the economy went through a major transformation when we had the steam engine or the combustion engine came in. The world completely changed. AI actually is expected to create 10 times more the impact. And not just because of AI, but also the relevant technologies which are going to come with it. So guys, this is the era, and we're very, very fortunate to be part of an era, which is the era where things are going to transform, and this will become almost as a flow of work. So I'm assuming I'm excited. I hope all of you are, right? Can I again get a raise of hands? I can at least see some of you. Fantastic. Thank you. Do you know how almost by 2030, this is 2024, by 2030, 16 trillion of the world economy will be impacted by AI in some or the other way. That's a huge jump from where we are today. It is a 30% CAGR growth. 30%, guys, just mark the words. Today we are talking of adoption. Today we are talking of apprehension, fear. And this 30% is really going to make AI really the flow of work. It's not about you'll have to think about AI separately. All of you will be part of it. And along with this growth, this is going to impact the GDP of the world economy. The way work happens, the way people interact, the way industries work, how the value chain of the industries will get disrupted is going to be huge. You know, as we think about, so which is fine, you know, we all get it, there's huge stuff happening, this is the future. The challenge which all of us have is it real? Will it really happen, or is it again a hype? And I think that is one of the big things I really want to talk about today, to literally say, if you think about in last 3 years, there has been 330 billion investment which has gone into the AI. 330 billion in 3 years, which is a huge number. It was some less than 100 a year back, which means there is the potential and the business value that everyone is thinking about. There are almost 70,000 startups which have come in, huge number of unicorns. But that's not the key. The key is there's growth, there's investment. If that's what's happening, what's going to happen to all of us? Think about the organizations and the people. I can tell you people are going to be spoiled for choices. Spoiled for choices because each of this investment, each of these companies, not just startups, think of the big tech players. If any one of you have heard on the takeaways from Dreamforce, Oracle, reInvent, all the events that are happening, pretty much everyone is launching AI. So it's spoiled for choice. It's scared by having so many choices. As a CIO of the company or someone who's leading AI or a CFO, supply chain leader, I just don't know what to pick. I don't know what's going to happen. So what do I do? How do I think about it? I have 5 partners who are coming and telling me adopt my technology because I have the latest and the brightest. So that's where the key challenge starts coming in people's mind of literally thinking about what do I do? And I think that's where the big piece of what do I do literally leads to the fact of what is AI innovation all about. Because if I'm picking technology which is only for efficiency and not picking for experience, I will not get the true value. So I want everyone to just step back and think about whenever you think of adoption, whenever you think of people picking technology choices, think about the experience it will create for your organization, your teams, your clients, as well as efficiency. And to me, that's a big differentiator of as you start thinking about AI, how will it improve these two? It's not either or, it is the multiplication factor which drives that adoption and literally takes that fear away. With me so far? Yeah? Okay. And I'll give a simple example of experience. So we had our own internal meeting, which was a leadership meeting, which happened a few days back in New York. So when we were in that meeting, obviously everyone was talking about, you know what? We have to have AI, these are the use cases, this is what is happening, etc. And there were a lot of discussions happening. Everyone was very excited, I would say. Some sitting on the fence, some were like, can't happen, leave it. But I think the difference happened when we actually experientially showed the individuals some of the stuff which had happened. It was as simple as, we're talking about AI. This is what you can see what's happening in the organization on click of a button on your app. You want to ask this question? Mr. Sales Leader, just go and chat here. This is what you'll get. So think about the power when we started creating personalized experiences which were beyond efficiency. And that's where people said, oh, this is real. This is what will really get me going, and hence I should adopt and get on the path of the AI journey. It's very similar to what I would say my mother-in-law. She was, when we started the smartphones, she was pretty clear, we will not touch the smartphone more than 1 hour in a day. There is radiation in the night. It should be outside the room, etc., etc. And she was using a simple phone. She was fine with it. I'm an Apple fan, so sorry guys who are not Apple fan. But the moment she shifted to Apple, we gifted her the first Apple phone. I can tell you her adoption and being on the phone is much more than mine. Because every time the phone is either busy or if the Wi-Fi of the house goes down, something happens, the first thing I get is a call. It's not working. What the hell is wrong with it? So I think it is the experience which really made her switch from being a passive to really a big user. And that's what AI is going to happen for us. So with this advancement, I do want to talk, let me just move to the next one. What does AI-ready organization mean? So if you think about an organization, you have to start thinking about what is my business need. You cannot start from technology first lens. It's literally about what is my business need, what am I going to solve for? If this is what I'm going to solve for, what is the right technology for me? And technology could be multiple. I can give you an example. Let's just start, and it will be hybrid. The go-forward way is hybrid. It is not one monolithic solution. I have a client with which we are very actively working on developing a very, very innovative product. If it comes out, it's going to be cutting edge. Obviously, it's a pilot we are doing. If that happens, it's going to transform everything. And the way we've actually set that up pretty much is, we're going to have the entire data reside on AWS. All the algorithms are coming from Azure. The UI UXs are different. So it's bringing different breeds of technology together to literally create that impact of building that product. And that's a very unique in financial services product if it comes across. I personally think that'll drive a huge adoption of Gen AI, not just AI. So that's the big thing which we need to keep in mind. We have to lead with the business use case and what is the right technology which follows it. It is not the other way around, where you pretty much start with saying, this is the technology, how do I leverage the technology? So that's the first learning, I would say, when you start thinking about an AI-ready organization. And the second piece which comes after that is, all that is fine. What is my real business? What is my business reality? Am I ready as an organization to adopt AI. And by adoption, I mean, do I have the right set of data? Do I have the data architecture? Are people thinking about it? Do I have enough, or is it just because everyone is going and there's a business need, I'll go for it? So I think the second piece of being an AI-ready organization is pretty much around the data architecture, the reality of the organization. So it is the business case solving, hence technology. The second piece is how ready am I as a company, and hence, how do I get the right data architecture, because data has to be ready to be consumed by AI models. If that's not there, nothing else will work. It was almost the previous one. Input and output and processing is in between. If you have the wrong input, the wrong output, and you're sort of stuck there. The third and the most critical element today, which everyone talks about, is the AI governance. The fear and the apprehension, from whether it is from the regulatory bodies, whether it is from the organizations, is all about, am I getting the right output? Am I creating a negative impact on the society? Is it ethical? Is it responsible? I think those pieces are becoming really, really critical in the discussions, and that's also one of the reasons why we are seeing a lower AI adoption. So in my mind, for an organization to be AI ready, the 3 building blocks: understand the business problem you're solving and then choose technology, think about your organization ready and have the right data architecture, and then have AI governance. Now, which is great this is some of the learnings we've had, but which is a really nice, cool thing to be AI ready. I need to have 3 building blocks in place. But I think the next question is, what about people? Because ultimately, talent is at the heart of it. So a few years, 2 years, or maybe 3 years back, when we talked about AI in most of the organizations, including ours, people would come back and say, you know what? I need people with engineering background, would understand maths, stats. These are some of the core skills, and that's all I need. These are the data scientists or ML scientists that I really need, and they will solve. I'll give them a bunch of Excel files or data dumps and say, pick it up, come up with a model which will tell me what I need to do. Help me predict my supply chain, help me manage my inventory, help me do some reporting. And everyone else was in a very relaxed way saying, fantastic, I've given it to a bunch of smart people like you, let them solve the issue. The world has completely changed now. Now, specifically with GenAI, each and every one of us needs to be engaged in it. It is not about a bunch of data set problems being given to people. It is about a bigger, broader AI workforce. An AI workforce has 2 components to it. The first and foremost is core AI skills. And today, AI skills are no longer limited to what we had earlier as data scientists. It is data engineers, UI, UX, technical architect. You have to figure out what sits where. How do you combine this complex environment to create a model which will run and actually run in production? So that entire AI core skill set has continuously expanded over a period of time, and we all need to build it because that's the heart of it. But beyond that is really the AI fluent talent, which is people who are going to use those models, people who are going to use. So if you are someone who's going to use the Salesforce agent, if you're someone who's going to use Microsoft Copilot, you need to know how to use it first. So hence, everyone in the organization, whether it is HR, whether it is finance, whether it is a person who's doing a supply chain planning or a person who's really doing sourcing, needs to understand how to use these systems. So the fluency level and the focus suddenly changes on how do I get my entire organization on the AI. And that, I can tell you, is the toughest journey. You could build the brightest models. You could have the right data architecture. You could have everything there. But if people in your organization are not fluent, I can guarantee you the adoption will not happen. And that's where the change has to happen. The shift has to happen, that AI is not limited to these pool of people. AI is broader. It is for everyone who's going to consume. Just like smartphones, everyone consumes. Today, if you go and buy vegetable, like my husband's posted in Guwahati, we don't use cash. We only use Paytm or Google Pay. That's it. There is no concept of paying by cash or credit card. And that was such a surprising thing when I went there a year back, and I said, how do you live? Every 5 rupees is through a digital wallet. And that's the adoption which has happened. How do we drive that digital wallet adoption to AI? Means everyone needs to be trained, equipped to do that. In fact, at Genpact, and I know Richa is going to talk about it a little bit tomorrow, but we've pretty much launched our own learning platform, which is evolving over a period of time. Every day, every month, we are thinking, how do we make it more AI-friendly? But that's enabling the larger organization to make it happen. So I think technology and the talent are 2 critical pieces. They have to come together. Either or will not help us succeed. It is not about machines replacing humans. It's not about humans being fearful of what the machines will do. And to the point earlier, It is not, it's the fear which has to get over, and it's almost like you use your phone, I'll use models, that's it. So I think that's the intersection that we are really talking about and will create that impact. Okay, so what does AI do? And this was something which just struck me, because I was going to give a similar example of, will AI free me up to do washing my clothes and my utensils? Or will AI really free me up to do creativity? And I think that's for us to decide what we use AI for. It has to free us up to do a lot of things which will help me enhance my creativity, my time. I'll give you a simple example, what I do every day. In the morning when I get up earlier, I used to think, oh my God, there are 15 things to plan, grocery to be ordered, this to be done, etc. And then came Amazon a few years back. It has given at least 1 hour back in my life, because I don't have to think, I don't have to plan. It will tell me this is going down, this is what you need to order, you can do quick delivery, you don't have to go to a grocery store. Fantastic. It's a cliche example of Amazon, I can tell you, but that's where the focus, that's what makes life easy. Similarly, if you think about Tesla, everyone talks about Tesla, it's taken in different ways. Tesla, because of Tesla and the electric cars, I'll take broader than Tesla, the gas stations will no longer be there, which basically means we don't have to go and stand in the queues. It again gives ours back to us and frees our time, personal time, for us to do something more creative, be more human, talk to people, talk to your friends, spend time. And I think learn from each other. That is one of the big things of AI, which we in today's world are missing. We are all just focused on, oh my God, I've got 4 more hours. Can I do a little more work? Can I do something else? I hope none of you are of that sort. I do that, and I'm trying to change to say, those 4 hours are meant for me to give quality back to my life versus giving back to work. And that's what the freeing up of AI would mean, and adoption of AI would mean for all of us. I think I just wanted to as I start wrapping, I want to bring all these elements together that we have talked about. AI, there's fear. Fear stops us from adopting, and to adopt, few things literally have to come together. And I'm going to give you an example. Sorry. Yeah. So if you really think about what happens when you row a boat, if you have to win this race, there are like multiple companies who will be focusing and saying, I want to win the race. The team which wins the race is the one which brings all the components together. Components around technology choices, components around AI governance, components around data, components about core talent, components about the AI fluent talent. It has to bring all of them in sync, all rowing in one direction. It's only when they row in one direction, in tandem, and flow almost like a poetry, is when the real results will be enabled and companies will be successful. So that's a big piece that we need to start thinking about on AI adoption. I want each one of you to reflect and think about, is this happening in your organization? Are you there, or are components missing? If these components are missing, that's where the gap happens, and that's where things don't move alike. So just wanted to bring this back. Think about it in a lot more seamless way. These are not components which exist in isolation. Different teams have to come together. Silos have to be broken in an organization to bring this to life. The future. What is the future is ours to make, guys. There's investment, there's growth, there's technology, there's innovation, there's experience. All that pretty much is coming together. I think the pieces which are going to define which organizations will be successful in future versus which will be not. Again, I love having a component of 3 things. I'll again go back to 3. The first and the foremost, which I feel, is having a champion. Having a champion in the organization or in your work, whichever way, someone who believes in AI and says, I will make it happen, I will kill the silos, I will be the leader, I cannot be a follower or a laggard. Having the champion is one of the most important things to really be future ready. He or she literally defines what is the charter, what is the direction, what do I want to do and achieve. And any failure which comes in, the goal of that person is just to motivate the team and remove the obstacles which come in the way. That's the most important thing. If you don't have a champion, I can tell you none of the AI projects or AI pivots will be successful. So once you have a champion, what next? Oh, there's someone who's going to take care of me. There is good, any obstacle which comes, it's his or her job. He will remove silos. He will do everything. All I need to do is code or learn a few things. No, it is not that. The second piece which comes is really the psychological security of people. People who are on this journey, they need to start thinking about, if this fails, will something happen to my career? Will I be held responsible? What will happen if this model, once I've spent almost a year building, doesn't work? What if this fails in a way where the data is not protected? There are multiple things which can go wrong. How do you give your team that's focused on it a little bit of security, saying it's fine, we are ready to take a risk, we will have all the guardrails, we'll try to protect, but if things fail, I'm here for you. So I think just having the champion and then giving that sense of security to the larger organization is the second most key thing. I think third, I debated a lot, okay? I always have 2 or 3 things. I debated a lot. What is the third thing which I personally feel would make AI successful for our organization? It was culture, it was dynamism, everything. And this is where I landed. And I would love if you guys feel differently. Maybe we can talk offline about this. But where I sort of landed is, it's not agility, it is about how dynamic we are and do we have a learner's mindset. Are we as an organization, as an individual also, as someone who's constantly learning and ready to try, saying this will work, this will not. This can't, it's okay, I'll leave it, tomorrow I'll do something new. So having that learner's mindset and having that dynamic view is going to be very, very critical. Being static, living the way we've been will not help us grow. So again, if you really have to be a successful organization of future, that organization, and you can look around at the companies who've been successful in AI, and I don't have to take names, all of you know about it, pretty much 3 things which came in the way. The first and the foremost, they had a champion who had the vision, who had the dream, who was killing all the obstacles. The second was literally people were free. People could think, could bring ideas to the world, to the point made in the earlier session. If you don't have just ideas alone won't help. You have to give them a sense of security, a sense of belongingness, and then ultimately that learner's mindset. So to me, tech and talent, if I could just sum it up, tech talent needs to come together, but along with it, there has to be that organizational fabric which allows people to innovate, which allows people to think differently, and literally get to a space where they feel they can create an impact on the organization, on the society, and on the client. And that's what I would say, tech talent together is going to be the differentiator, so be ready to embrace it with a learner's mindset. Thank you.